Good morning and welcome. Please rise and body your spirit and join in singing our opening song, Blue Boat Home.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
What a beautiful and uplifting way to open our service. Like the song, we too are travelers on this vast sea of existence, seeking meaning, belonging, and connection. Whether you are a long-time member or here for the very first time, your presence enriches this community. Together, let us sail into this hour of reflection, renewal, healing, and shared journey. A warm welcome to everyone here in the sanctuary and those joining us in the virtual sanctuary. This is a loving community of seekers where all people of goodwill are welcome. Here we strive to live with integrity, nurture wonder, and inspire actions that will transform us and transform the world. I'm Carolyn Bjerke, and I'm delighted to be serving the Unitarian Society as ministerial intern. Lead minister, Reverend Julia Hamilton, is out of the pulpit today. And for this morning's service, I am honored to be here with worship associate Kier Zecker, music director Matthew Grissett, pianist Heather Levin, director of Lifespan Education, Charla Brigante, and Angie Swanson-Kiriakou, who is engaging with those of you online. I would like to extend a warm and special welcome to any visitors or guests joining us for the first time. We would like to stay in touch and welcome you into this community. On the second Sunday of the month, which is today, we have a casual newcomer orientation across the courtyard in the front office. Also, you can visit the welcome table in the courtyard or join in the online coffee hour. We have a lot going on beyond our Sunday services. There are a couple things that I want to highlight. This Tuesday, January 14th at 6 p.m., Reverend Julia and I will be leading a midweek service. It's a Taizé service modeled after the contemplative services from France, and it is a time for reflection, stillness, meditative singing, and connection. These services will continue monthly through June. And enrollment has begun for our connection circles. Connection circles can be a way to get to know one another on a deeper level by sharing what is important to us with a small group over 5 months. When we know each other's stories, we build appreciation and trust for one another. And through these circles of trust, we strengthen our community. Whether you've been in a connection circle many times or are new to them, you are welcome to join a circle during the month of January. There are 5 groups to choose from, including one group that meets on Zoom and 2 groups that meet on Sunday with childcare. New circles begin in February, and you can find out more about them or sign up in the garden after the service. And now, I invite you to take a breath, allow yourself to settle, and bring yourself into this space as we ring our bell and let the sound connect us.
I'd like to invite up Dylan, Kyle, and Sarah to light our chalice. Let us light our chalice with this flame, a symbol of life and renewal, reminding us of the sacredness of earth and our place in it. Thank you, Dylan. One good thing, one of the remedies for finding hope in challenging times is something we practice each week, and it's to live in a world that is moving ourselves towards a more beloved community. And for a good news story this week, I want to hold up what's happening in the Lower Sioux Indian community in southwest Minnesota. I want to tell you about this because they're building much-needed housing on their land from hempcrete. And hempcrete is made from hemp, which is a sustainable, fast-growing plant, plus water and lime. And the Lower Sioux community is growing and processing all the hemp that they're growing on-site using every part of the plant. And the production of the plant-based hempcrete building material is non-toxic, it's energy efficient to create, unlike other materials like cement, steel, PVC. And they're calling this program their Seed to Sovereignty because they foresee a future where revenue from growing hemp supplants what they're currently depending on from casino dollars. Native communities are traditional caretakers of the earth, are leading the change in how our world is built and building our way towards a livable climate. This is a good thing. So we invite you to think about something that's happened in your life or something that you've witnessed this week and share it with someone out in coffee hour, share it in the chat online.
Please rise in body or spirit as we sing song number 175, We Celebrate the Web of Life.
We celebrate the web of life, its magnitude we sing. For we can see divinity in every living thing. A fragment of the perfect whole in cactus and in quail, as much in tiny barnacle as in the blue whale. Of ancient dreams we are the sum, our bones link stone and star, and by no future worlds to come, with worlds that were and are. Respect the water, land, and air, which gave all creatures birth. Protect the lives of all that share the glory of the earth.
Everyone, it is the story time of our morning. So if you would like to, anyone would like to join me up on the rug, I've got a story with some beautiful illustrations today, some of which you'll be able to see on that screen. So I invite you to enjoy these beautiful watercolor pictures. Hi, Dylan. Anyone want to join Dylan on the rug up here? Glad you can come closer if you want, but then you can't see up there. Oh, good. Here we go. Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, coming up on the rug is for all ages, for anyone who wants to be part of a good story. Great. The story we're reading today is called Dear Earth, and it is by Isabel Otter, with beautiful illustrations by Clara Anganuzzi. When Tessa and Grandpa went walking, he would tell her about the earth. Grandpa had been an explorer once. He had seen many wondrous things and loved to tell Tessa about his adventures. As Grandpa talked, pictures were painted in Tessa's mind. She decided to write a letter to the earth. But how to begin? Start by writing Dear Earth, then let your imagination flow, said Grandpa. Dear Earth, Tessa began. The sea roared in the distance, and Tessa continued to write. My grandpa has told me a lot about you, and you sound wonderful. One day, I'm going to be an explorer just like my grandpa. Most of your surface is covered in water. I want to dive into your deep oceans and see shoals of swirling fish. I would blow bubbles with the whales and glide like a sea turtle. I would love to explore your lands, too. When the animals stampede, I would run among them. My heart would beat as loudly as their thundering hooves. You are home to gentle giants as well as tiny little creatures. I want to run through your meadows and kiss the butterflies, splash under waterfalls, and float in blue lagoons. It sounds wonderful. Part of you is frozen over. Do you ever feel cold? Grandpa says that unicorns swim in the Arctic Ocean. You have ridges of mountains that tower over everything. Some of them have their head in the clouds. In the underwater forest of the mangroves, sharks keep their babies safe. I would like to slide down desert dunes, but avoid the prickly cacti. When the bears go fishing, I would watch and dip my toes in the river. Up in your rainforest canopy, I would join in with the hullabaloo of the birds and monkeys. High in the sky, I would fly with the birds. Soaring and swooping up and up, I would go. Earth, you are full of such wonder, but you're fragile and you need love and care. Grandpa says that humans have hurt you, but we can heal you too. The sea continued to roar in the distance as she finished her letter simply, love from Tessa. Grandpa and Tessa walked down to the beach together. I wish everyone knew how special the earth is, said Tessa. Do you think if people realized, then they would want to take care of the world and keep it safe? Yes, I do, said Grandpa, taking Tessa's hand. Maybe if enough of us share the message, we can still save our dear earth. And that's our time for all ages this morning. And kids are welcome to join me and Janie out the back door for some fun activities.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
Invite you now into a time of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life, of many names and no name, we gathered today with hearts that hold many feelings. Grief for those who have lost so much, gratitude for the safety of others, and perhaps the weight of our own memories, as we recall times of loss and rebuilding in our own lives. We hold in love all who are affected by the fires, those who face the pain of starting over, those who mourn what can never be replaced. May they feel the strength of community and the compassion of strangers who care deeply for their well-being. We honor the first responders whose courage and dedication protect lives. And we grieve for the scarred landscapes, the creatures displaced, and the balance of life disrupted by fire's force. In this moment, we pause to acknowledge what is on our own hearts, our memories, our fears, our prayers for healing. May we hold all of this tenderly, trusting that even amid loss, there is the possibility of renewal and peace. Now let us take a deep breath together, feeling the air filling your lungs, grounding you, steadying you. In this stillness, let us find space for whatever is within: grief, hope, questions, or quiet presence. May this moment of reflection hold us all, and may we draw strength from the peace we create together. Let us rest in this silence, allowing space for all that we carry and all that we seek to release. Please remain seated as we sing This Is My Song.
This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and mine. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams on clover leaf and pine. But other lands have sunlight too, and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as mine. Oh, hear my song, thou God of all the nations, a song of peace for their land and for mine.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Kier Zecker. I'm a member of your worship arts team here. And like Tessa in our stories Charla read this morning, I want to start my reflection writing a letter to Earth. Dear Earth, I've heard there is a song beneath your soil, made from billions of voices, blending their calls into a hallelujah all can understand. It is the sound of life flowing through the tangle of roots, mycelium, and a maze of burrow tunnels, upward through trunks and stems and blades of waving grasses out into the air, the wind and stars. I've heard you can hear this song in the footfall of paw and hoof, humming in the buzz of wings, fluttering in the feathers. You can see it shining on the scales and fins and slithering skins, and you can smell it too in the sages dampened by the dew. Remind me how I can listen so I can hear your song. Remind me that I am part of your voice and have notes to sing. Love, Kier. This last week, I've really needed to hear this reminder. As the news of the fires in Los Angeles and the accelerated rate of devastation happening so close to us was streaming in, I found myself on news intake mode for hours. In between texts firing back and forth, checking in and trying to understand. There are heartbreaking visuals and the conflicting analysis, the extent of damage that was reflected on maps, and my inability to pull away from all of this. It left me feeling disconnected and disorganized, incapacitated by overwhelm, yet wanting to help. I needed a direct encounter. I took myself outside to the large cork oak tree below my apartment and rested my head against its thick bark. I willed the tree to take my worries. That didn't work for long as I found myself back on the screen. I took myself to farmer's market and then to song circle, 2 activities that feed my soul and connections, and this helped. But the next day I was back at the computer and thrown off balance again. Yesterday I spent the daylight hours on the other side of the mountain in the San Ynez Valley along the river. My friend Rachel and I were collecting 5 wildlife cameras that we'd set up a year ago as volunteers for a study on the impacts of fire on wildlife populations in the forest. And the dark before dawn was still, quiet, cold. We hiked and watched as the light revealed new colors and sun warmed our frozen fingers. And at one point we split up to retrieve different cameras, and I took a moment to stop and sit at one of the sites to watch the river flow over the rocks. I opened my presence fully, and I felt the vibrancy of life that was there around me, feeling my heart pound with joy when a deer bounded out from behind the sagebrush. This is where I heard the earth song again. I needed to completely stop and open my honor and attention to the natural world around me and know my part in it. I believe as a Unitarian Universalist, I have a responsibility to care for all that exists in this web of life with love. And my attention and time fosters this love between us. I know I will never be perfect in my remembering that we are part of nature. It's a constant back and forth balancing act. But I believe this practice of truly stopping to listen to nature, of remembering we are part, is necessary for our survival. Living in relationship with the natural world becomes an act of resistance to the pace and focus of our consumer culture. And on a fundamental level, I believe our challenges in healing the earth are spiritual in nature and reflect the way we've come as a society to commodify the value of earth and disconnect from it. And listening to nature is an action that I can take to change this norm. I want to end with one of my favorite poems by David Wagner, because this one helps me to remember how to come back into balance when I'm feeling lost about what to do next to help. And it's called Lost. Stand still. The trees ahead and the bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. And each month here at the Unitarian Society, we share 25% of our offering with an organization that's out in the world living our values. And our January outreach offering is for Sumi Nungwa. And Sumi Nungwa is who UCSB has partnered with on our many trips to the Hopi Reservation since 2012. And they're the ones who help us connect with and support the Hopi and Navajo cultures. They're the folks with the close ties and reciprocal trust with the Hopi and Navajo elders and assist us in being part of this healing cultural bridge building. And I have seen firsthand how incredibly valued and appreciated the Sumi Nungwa work is. I'm very grateful we've maintained this connection and keep going back, and that our youth and members of this congregation continue to have the opportunity to hear the wisdom from the elders, a deep wisdom of living in peace with the natural world, a wisdom that might save our species, a wisdom that won't be here much longer if we don't listen. So please give generously as you are able, and join me now in reading our affirmation of gratitude and giving. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others.
When I was a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. And now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm singing in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. Now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. 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 Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-downs. Now I'm walking with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. 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 Everything is holy now.
Nature has long been my teacher, my refuge and my companion. Not long ago, I paid a visit to the treasure that is the Santa Barbara Botanical Gardens, where I found myself easily surrounded in a meadow by native California plants. The air was thick with the scent of warm earth and sage, and in the stillness I marveled at how these resilient species thrive in difficult, arid conditions, deeply rooted and yet adaptable. And in that moment, I felt, I have many times before, that undeniable connection. And yet another reminder of that resilience, simplicity, and interdependence that are fundamental truths woven into the fabric of nature and of our lives. And this past week, as the fires raged in Los Angeles, miles from Santa Barbara, we are reminded of the vulnerability and the profound connection we have to nature. The fires disrupted lives, scorched the land, and sent waves of smoke and pollution into the air. And even at this distance, the smoke is a visceral reminder of how closely our lives are entwined with the earth. We breathe the same air, we drink the same water, and walk upon the same dear earth. What happens to one part of this interconnected web inevitably affects us all. I believe that nature, when we truly pause to see it, speaks to us. We see lessons in the trees that endure storms, the rivers that carve paths through stone, and in how ecosystems thrive through cooperation. And how can this deep wisdom of the natural world inspire us to resist disconnection? In our rich and vivid landscapes of Santa Barbara, we are daily invited into conversation with the natural world. The oaks, the resilient native grasses, and the gentle rhythm of the Pacific are not merely a backdrop, but they are sacred partners. They are living reminders of our connection. Nature is not simply out there, it is within and among us, shaping every breath we take and every decision we make. This perspective resonates with the values of Unitarian Universalism, which place love at the center of our relationships with each other, with ourselves, and with the earth. These values challenge us to expand our understanding of community, embracing the earth not as a resource to manage, but as a sacred partner, deserving of care and reverence. How will these insights guide us into resisting forces that threaten both our natural and spiritual worlds? Long before modern theological debates, Indigenous traditions practiced an ethic of care for the earth that could address today's environmental challenges. The native Santa Barbara people, the Chumash, exemplify this wisdom, offering a model for living in harmony with the rhythms of land and sea, and very importantly, acting with long-term awareness. Rooted in respect and reciprocity, their teachings remind us that the earth is not a commodity, but a sacred relative. In this world facing unprecedented environmental challenges, the stories and beliefs that shape our relationship with the earth carry immense power. Among these, the Hebrew Bible has profoundly influenced the worldview of Western cultures. And yet, these interpretations are not immutable. They can be re-examined and reimagined to offer a more ecologically grounded perspective. In 1967, a historian named Lynn White wrote a landmark essay, The Historical Roots of Our Ecologic Crisis, arguing that much of our environmental degradation can be traced to Western Christianity's dominion-centered theology. He focused on Genesis 1, verse 28 through 30, which reads, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." White argued that the interpretation of this passage, commanding humanity to subdue the earth and exert dominion over all living things, has given permission to humans to exploit nature. And this perspective, White argued, positioned humans as separate from and superior to the natural world, and has been used to justify centuries of environmental harm. White's call to rethink the narratives that shape our attitudes remains critical. He advocated for a return to humility and the recognition of the sacredness inherent in all life. And this call of stewardship aligns with the growing realization that humanity must act as responsible caretakers of creation. Building on White's critique, theologian Sally McFaig argues that the word dominion should not be understood as domination or exploitation, but as an invitation to care and responsibility. McFaig suggests viewing the earth as the body of God, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all life and the sacred nature of creation. Scholar Norman Wiertzbach also critiques interpretations of Genesis that justify ecological harm. He highlights how dominion has often been misread through anthropocentric and patriarchal lenses. Instead, Wiertzbach points to the broader biblical narrative, which frequently calls humanity to act as shepherds and stewards. Shepherding is a role rooted in care, protection, and a deep understanding of the needs of the flock. This perspective finds further support in Psalm 24, verse 1, which reads, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it." And the way I read this passage underscores that the earth does not belong to humanity. It is a divine gift entrusted to us. It shifts the focus from ownership to partnership, encouraging us to see the earth as sacred and interconnected with our own well-being. Even Jesus drew on the natural world to teach profound truths. He spoke of the mustard seed's potential, the lilies of the field in their unadorned beauty, and the tiny sparrows cherished by God. These examples remind us of the divine presence in creation and humanity's call to live in harmony with it. Finally, theologian Rosemary Radford Reuther further critiques dominion theology, tying it to systems of oppression that harm both the earth and marginalized communities. She calls for an ecofeminist theology that dismantles hierarchies and fosters mutuality between humans and the natural world. Reuther's own life reflected her theology. She tended a plot of tomatoes outside her office window, both as a challenge to institutional norms and as a reminder of our need to return to the land. For Reuther, the ethic of stewardship is inseparable from justice, as both require a recognition of the intrinsic value of all beings. This vision is central to the view of eco-theology, which frames environmental care as a spiritual imperative. By viewing the earth as a sacred community, eco-theology calls us to honor all life and to reinterpret dominion as a responsibility to nurture and preserve. This connection to the natural world is not merely theoretical, it is deeply experiential. In moments of awe, self and other dissolve. And we glimpse the sacred unity that underlies all existence. Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh has a beautiful meditation on an orange, which I encourage you to try. This practice includes using all your senses to experience the orange. Slowly smell, peel, and taste the orange. Give gratitude and see the interconnectedness of all things. The sun, the rain, soil, and hands that bring the orange to us. This mindfulness calls us to live with reverence, recognizing our place within the web of relationships that sustain life. You can try this with a piece of fruit at home, or I brought a basket of oranges that blew off my tree this week, and feel free to help yourself to one on the way out. We know that our well-being is tied to the health of this planet. Yet living this principle demands more than affirmation. It requires action. Practically, this might mean supporting local conservation efforts and building relationships with nature. For example, the Santa Barbara Channel Keepers engage in hands-on restoration projects, reminding us of our role as stewards. The Santa Barbara Urban Creeks Council restores riparian habitats, while the Community Environmental Council promotes renewable energy. These local initiatives welcome support and involvement in answering the call to care for all creation. As nature itself offers metaphors for interdependence through the mycelial networks beneath forests that model mutual aid, similarly, Unitarian Universalist elder and diversity strategist Dr. Paula Cole-Jones's vision of congregations as a community of communities provides a powerful metaphor for rethinking our relationships. In nature, ecosystems thrive not because they are homogeneous, but because of their diversity and interconnectedness. A forest, for example, is not a singular entity, but a vibrant network of trees, fungi, animals, and microbes, each contributing to the whole. Programs like the Wilderness Youth Project model this beautifully, taking young people into the wild spaces of Santa Barbara to experience firsthand the interconnectedness of ecosystems. These moments of awe and understanding ripple outward, creating a greater sense of earth, of the care for the earth and for each other. Just as a forest thrives through its myriad connections, so too can our congregations when we honor the unique contributions of everyone. Our congregations are composed of diverse and interconnected groups, and using this model, Jones urges us to move beyond the family metaphor, which can sometimes imply insularity, and instead envision a broader, more inclusive spiritual ecosystem. The phrase community of communities strengthens the whole by allowing its constituent parts to flourish. Young adults exploring their identities, elders sharing their wisdom, and those drawn to music, education, or activism all find their place within the larger tapestry. And this metaphor challenges us to think expansively, to nurture not only the communities within our walls, but those we have yet to reach. One of my favorite authors, Octavia Butler, challenges us in her parable series to imagine a future where humanity lives in harmony with the earth. Her protagonist's philosophy, Earthseed, envisions humanity as co-creators, not masters, of the natural world. This perspective calls us to nurture what could be while confronting the realities of our present. As we journey together in this work, let us remember that we do not do it alone. We are part of a larger community of life, a community that includes not only other humans, but also the countless species with whom we share this planet. And we are part of a larger story, a story that began long before us and will continue long after we are gone. At the heart of all these efforts is love, love for the earth, for each other, and for the divine mystery that holds us all. This love calls us into action, not out of guilt or fear, but I pray out of a profound sense of connection and responsibility. As we leave this place today, let us carry this vision with us. Let us listen to the wisdom of the earth, learn from its resilience, and act with love at the center of all we do. Hold each other with gentleness and love in the coming weeks. And may we, as community of communities, cultivate a world where we embrace our role as stewards of creation and partners in the very sacred work of nurturing life in all its forms. May it be so. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing song number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning.
for the earth forever turning, for the skies, for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the mountains, hills, and pastures in their silent majesty, for the stars, for all the heavens, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the sun, for rain and thunder, for the seasons' harmony, for our lives, for all creation, sing we our joyful praise to thee. For the world we raise our voices, for the home that gives us birth. In our joy we sing, returning home to our blue-green hills of earth.
And now, as we go forth from this gathering, may we carry with us the wisdom of the earth beneath our feet. May we remember that we are not above creation, but within it, interwoven with the trees, the rivers, the stars, and all living beings. Let us walk gently on this sacred earth, caring for it as a divine gift entrusted to us. Go now in peace, with gratitude for the gift of this day, and with hope for the generations to come. Blessed be, and amen. And let us call out a blessing.
Call out a blessing, 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 call out, call out a blessing, call